with many facing much higher inflation rates. The findings of the World Bank and Security Update state. It is another Monday today, to be specific, the last in February 2024, and this is how I welcome you to the conversation of trending issues in the country as they unfold. Today's issue is an exception, as this matter has been in the public space for a very long time. Talking about high cost of living with emphasis on food price inflation. There should be a way out, and that's why my guest is here with me in the studio, Mr. Ashimashiga Michael.
Dr. Ashimashiga
Michael. Thank you so much for joining us in the conversation this morning.
Thank you.
Is an agriculturist. Am I right?
You're right, my dear.
So we're here to proffer solutions to food crisis in the country. We'll be sharing his perspectives as an agriculturist and someone who understands what's going on. I would love you to please listen to this, and let's start with it. It is said that food security of a nation is an integral part of national development and a contributory factor to the national security and financial security of each and every given nation. How do you respond to this?
Yes, that is true. You know, when you talk of food security, it's one of the basic and I think the primary responsibility of every country to make sure that they have make every available means to secure aspect of food getting to its citizens, because without food, every other thing can't work. Without food, we can't move. So food is the major priority. So for a country to make sure it succeeds economically, you must make provision for that food first. That is, your agricultural base must be standardized. You must follow every due process. Make everything necessary for a farmer to be able to cultivate. That is taking away issues of insecurity, engaging or giving of fertilizers and so many other agricultural inputs to the farmers. Without that, you can't talk about food security.
So each administration in Nigeria, from one president to the other, I doubt if there is any one of them who didn't make agriculture a priority.
Yes, if you talk of that, I will say yes on paper, because I am a practical farmer and I have not seen anyone that have made total commitment in bringing or making that work. When you go to Ministry of Agri, you know, sometimes some of us, when we talk, some of them always says that these are stubborn people that don't want to go government policies. If I will work as a researcher, as an agriculturist, I worked and make sure that this is what I know. There's nobody anywhere that can challenge me that what I'm doing will not provide solution. And if I make such available for my government to look into it and make sure they use it in order to change the life of someone that is out there that don't have the opportunity of maybe or have the mind working on such kind of research works that I may be opportune to do despite the stress. And I say this is the solution. And you comes in, you say, maybe you feel either politically or religious belief or bias and the rest of them, and you feel working with my solutions cannot add value to you, you just abandon it.
Let's start with Operation Feed the Nation.
Yeah.
Operation Rice, produce, eat what you produce.
Yeah.
Rice importation stopped.
Yeah.
Let's empower the farmers.
Yeah.
And CBN intervention to farmers.
Yeah.
So all of these programs have been on paper.
It's on paper. When you looked at it, the fact today is this. Looked at when I begin to hear of the kind of billions and trillions of dollars and nairas that have been spent to sustain most of these agricultural programs, Operation Feed the Nation, or you win, or all these to make sure they give farmers most of the basic attention. I have not seen it in the lives of the farmer. When you look at rice, how much is a bag of rice today? When you look at other countries that are supplying rice to Nigeria, only 2 states in Nigeria have more land than those countries. How have they gotten it right? It's based on their research and works. And they have done that, and they follow it with all passion to make sure that their farmers, If a farmer needs fertilizer, we make that fertilizer available for farmer. If they need tractors, those tractors are much available for farmers. But in Nigerian case, none. It's only this year I think I can see that some few governors started importing tractors. If not, you will see them launching the thousands of vehicles. And then the farmers that we are expecting, you want to see rice on ground. Where are the rice that we are talking? How much is the bag of rice? How many rice farmers are they benefited from government?
I understand that rice is actually one of the staple food in the country. Every house eats rice. But why are we focusing on rice alone? Is that the only one that's produced in the country?
No,
and are you saying that there hasn't been any support also for any other produce?
When you look at the annual borrowers that they give to farmers on rice cultivation, the money that they have spent on that, what they produce is not half of what it's not even 1/3 if you divide all that these farmers have produced. So where are the remaining money went to? When you come to corns, all these grains, let me look at maize particularly. You know, in Nigerian sector, when you look at the maximum yield per hectare of maize, it's just about 1.9 or 2 metric tons per hectare, while other countries are giving 10 tons per hectare because they have worked on their research. Nigeria, we don't have, when you talk of, we don't have incubation center where they train farmers fully, or maybe Nigerians have developed this particular product. Maybe let's go to fertilizer. They have developed and worked in a fertilizer and say, farmers, we are making sure that this factory, we are producing fertilizer and make sure each local government must get so number of fertilizer, organic fertilizer. And we have all this material all over the nation. And sometimes it gets me amazed when you are even working on your own personal way, you see so many attacks from government programs or government offices, even fighting us particularly. So how do you expect the country to move? So when all these crises are coming up, I look at it that I kept telling them for more than 10 years or 15 years ago, with all the governments. Some of them dealt with me. I look at them, I said, Nigeria will cry tomorrow. And that is where we are today. When you talk of solving unemployment, where you cannot provide common fertilizer to your farmer, and for somebody to cultivate as a youth, to have something from the farm that's supposed to give him money and let other ones that are in the city to eat, you can't make such things available to him. Today he's becoming a kidnapper or a bandit or this thing or armed robber. And then you are saying, fire him. Have you made those provisions for him? You have not. When you come to technicians, there are so many, when you look at all the sectors of the government, Nigeria, we are truly crying today. It's so painful when you see me talking sometimes. But I always thank God because I say it, whether we like it or not, we will make it work. And Nigeria must work. So sometimes we don't follow the government programs, we do on our own. We may face some of the attack. Some of us have been blackmailed not to even assist us. When you call them Moringa today, they will tell you that these people are stubborn people. Why? Because we make sure most of the research we have done with all the research agencies in Nigeria to make agriculture a very common and simple thing for farmers to benefit. But today, you can see.
So it sounds like there's a lot of lip service going on in the country.
It's just a total lip service, I have to tell you the truth.
We have various ministries of agriculture in various states of the federation. If the federal government is not doing anything, 36 other states, are they also following suit? You know,
you say from the head, if the father of the house cannot discipline his children, then you should be rest assured that the children will also act the same thing that the way the father is doing. So if the Federal Ministry of Agri, who are responsible for collecting allocations, making sure they get the right fertilizers to the farmers, making sure that they get tractors to distribute to all the states and the local government, making sure they get all the implements to give to all these local government or state government, if they cannot do that, do you think, how much allocation are they giving to states? Even if they give to states, can't they just my dear, let me, it doesn't
look like it's only in Nigeria. There's a global crisis on food. It felt like
when you talk of global food crisis, that one is sure. Nigeria, just exclude Nigeria. Nigeria shouldn't supposed to face, when you talk about food or hunger, Nigeria for once, nobody should cry in Nigeria that there is no food.
So let's highlight the point that makes Nigeria an exception to that.
That is where we are talking. You don't work by some of these government activities or programs the way they have outline it because it doesn't work the way they put it.
But are those guidelines that they're given, are they not supposed to be parameters to put everybody in check, the farmers or the agri sector in general?
Where are the extension workers that are following farmers to see what the farmers are doing? Where are they? You don't have them. Can they follow farmers? If you ask them, they will say insecurity. They can't go to the bush to guide a farmer to make this thing. If you cannot provide, the same people that are in the bush, you're supposed to make provision for them. You couldn't take care of them, and then they will be waiting for you because you are just in the town dividing money for this for this, and then when you look at the budget, you look at what has been put in budget. Sometimes I look at it and say we are not ready to solve Nigerian problem. But I always keep telling Nigerians that we shouldn't look into that too much. On my own, I stop talking much about government. I focus on what can I do. And that is why today, even if you go to the Ministry of Agriculture, you ask them to come and see the fertilizer I've produced 2 months, you see the comes in my factory here in Yanya in Abuja. They are not even coming. Because they say when they come, this boy will always abuse them, that they are not doing anything. So how do you expect Nigeria to go? I have the fertilizer on ground that there is any fertilizer anywhere you bring and beat what I've done on ground. It's not that Nigeria doesn't have ideas to develop things and make things more better for the country to move. But when you are doing it, you will be the #1 target that they will keep firing you. So how do you expect us to go? So the government must have total commitment. I submitted a letter to the presidency, the secretary to the government, to engage 15 million Nigerians in a very simple way, to provide raw material for me to just moringa for me to extract and feed these cows that they are saying that Nigeria are drinking the worst milk. I've done the research 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013 with National Veterinary Research Institute on how to provide simple employment to Nigerians. I use that to give to all the federal government. Look at this. Let's cultivate this. From this, the basic leaves there, you give to the cows, you feed them just once in a day. The milk will be more better. The meat also will be more better. The fowls, all these chicken that we have outbreak of avian influenza and the rest of them, farmers, you see farmers, they clear all their beds without even compensation, even if they pay insurance. When they are coming to get the payback, they can't have it. I've killed those avian influenza issues with National Veterinary Research Institute in 2010. I didn't rate agriculture, I didn't rate sciences. So those issues are dusted. But they cannot bring that. So you look at swine flu, and they look at so many other outbreaks where Fulani is supposed to even have this extract from this moringa and then feed his cow. You collect the dung from all these animals, you bring it back, you add the waste product of the moringa again, add it and bring the best fertilizer, supply to grains farmers, rice, maize, the ginger, and all these things. And then you see all those things doing better. We'll be exporting and making more better money in Nigeria when we talk of revenue or economic this thing.
I've seen deliberate efforts in Lagos State, for example, where the real pond or the river is being sectionalized and grow fish from there, and they've asked them to come into interest groups. Could it be one of the fears of the people you have reached out to? Why are you not in clusters, in groups that could probably then they can deal with that more than just having an individual?
You see, these are same issues we raised. I think during Buhari. From US, I sent a proposal. They called me. From me, said, take that proposal. I sent it back to them. I said, add your input.
You were in US. You
no, in Nigeria.
You were in Nigeria and sent a proposal.
A doctor from there said, go to the office of the vice president. I have someone there. Give me a proposal. Let me look at it and let's see how we can build these ideas and develop and engage our youth by setting incubation centers for the production of this, for the production of that, for the production of that, using extract from this and this and this. I have sent the proposal. The man looked at it and said, add your input. So all of them they gathered and said, you have thought beyond what we even imagine. He linked me up with a doctor there in the State House. I submitted that proposal. This is how we are going to do it. The next day they called me, they said, are you so and so, Michael Ashimashiga? I said, yes. He said, truly, we looked at it, but we are imagining how we can do it. But we have been told not to even argue with you, that we won't allow you to do it. From State House. So to tell you that there are...
Those were exact words?
That is the exact words that they sent to me. So how
Sent to you or
they called me, direct call. So sometimes when you talk of making Nigerian work, it doesn't mean that Nigerians have a lot of ideas. When you see Nigerians outside, they are making more better ways. Here you can't have an incubation center. When you provide this, you engage youth. Let's take an example. Okay, this is poultry, one poultry meat. By then, with what I've done with National Veterinary Research Institute, I brought you during good luck. I said, this is what we're supposed to do. They said, no, instead of us giving you money, my brother told me, he said they would rather take it. They push out all Nigerians. They said they should go and train on the chicken in Israel. So even if you hate me, you can't work with what I've done with National Veterinary Research Institute. Can't you push the student to National Veterinary Research Institute and then to train them on what I have done there? And then for them to come back and then let's solve this poultry, this thing. Then in each senatorial zone, you have this, maybe you create maybe 10,000 append houses. And then you say, each graduate, after you have dropped your paper, come, you are having 2 slots, you are having 6 months. You will use 3 months, you train these cows. With what we have researched there, they use it and then produce this feed and give these people in those places because you have already caged them. Nobody will take one bird out. Then after the first harvest, the government will sell it, not even government, make it as a business. The government will sell it at cheaper rate. And then everybody will be eating it on a cheaper ground. The student, or maybe let me say the graduate, will have his money back. When he makes this twice, he will have at least 500 or 1 million naira. Then he can leave that place. Another person will come. Every 6 months, you engage in each senatorial zone, you engage like 5,000 people, youth. The drop off of those birds will be used to mix with other ingredients content and then produce fertilizer back to the farm. Who tell you that we won't solve Nigerian problem?
It sounds so easy. So in implementation, it could be another thing.
They are not ready. If they are ready, these are ideas that are very common. You can face it with anything and then you make it work.
22 minutes before midday, the program is Perspectives live from Capital FM 92.9. My guest this morning, Mr. Michael Ashimashiga, an agriculturist, is here to offer solutions to food crisis in the country. You can share your perspective too. The number to call 0705 3538 929. 0705 3538 929. 2 weeks ago on the program, Mr. Ashimashiga, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
So February 12th, on this same program, we treated high cost of food and its toll on the residents of the country.
Yeah.
Well, prelude to that time, the federal government sort of had a meeting which was convened by the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, and then the National Security Advisor was also at that meeting because, of course, some bit of security instability and implications was beginning to get in the way of food production in the country. So they wanted to address that with the CBN governor, Minister of Economy. And it was at this instance of the federal government on the 7th of February that they assured Nigerians that food items will be released from the national food reserves as part of measures to crash food prices. What do you say to that?
Have they released that? Have they released the food?
I should ask you.
When they say they will do it, that is what I am saying. I don't talk politics because I'm not a politician. I can only help with my own little ideas and ways to see how we can work out.
Is it that
even
you
if they
don't
release
know? Okay. Is it that you don't know whether they have released or you're certain that nothing has
Even if they release it, there are people, middlemen that will still take it. These things will not go down because of cost.
Is it not an assumption also of Nigerians that it will go this way?
It's because when you look at the high cost of transportation, these are one of the major factors. But in other places, when you look at other countries, they pay more than us, and they have all the necessary amenities around to take and to leverage on most of these government programs, or maybe some of these government incentives that they have given to individuals. And you see it reaching out to every family. If some of these things have been released and it reach out maybe to half of the families, let me tell you, if maybe out of 10 of us are moving to the market to buy food at so high, maybe let's say 10,000 naira, and then half of us have not gone to the market to buy, at least the price will drop from the market because the patronage have been reduced. So most of this transportation and the rest of it, the cost of movement on the roads and everybody have been, those things have been cut off. Things will go down. But as I'm talking to you, whether they release it today, as I'm talking to you now, the same high cost of food will be there. And those ones that don't have the opportunity to have the little that have been released from all those reserves, they will still buy at high cost. When you look at
what would make prices to still not be crashed with this intervention?
My dear, sometimes when we ask, even if you said what will make it not to work, yes, let me say, the high cost of most of these things will not still crush. Let me just say that. Even if they release all those things, because the middlemen will take some that have taken, maybe you will discover that maybe somebody will just hijack so number of bags and say that he is taking it to his own constituency.
So that's not the problem of the president or the ministry. The interventions are, of course, in top gear. The implementation, the supervision, who should probably be carrying that out to ensure it doesn't go the wrong way?
Yeah, once there is a statement made, as I am now, if I ask my staff do this particular thing, I must follow them to the end. When you see me going to the bush sometimes, you see me fighting and fighting. People will say you are not afraid. I said, that is the line of my business. I must face it squarely to make sure I get the result. So if president says they should release this to the nation, and then if he's hearing news, hearing comments and the rest of them, and he discovered that those things have not been released, and he discovered that all those items have not been given to people, you have to follow who is the one in charge of this. What happened here? You will say, oh, I have given to this. You that you have been released so number of tons of grains. What happened on that ground? You will say, oh, I have given it to so and so. The ones they follow, if they are following up to this point, let me tell you, we will have this country movement. But they don't follow. The president, once he knows that he have given that statement that so number of grains should be released, he gave and he's true with it. The secretary to the government, or maybe the most of the governors, they will say they have released all those things, and the food. You say people, they can show pictures of few people. They just you see people struggling for that food, and the few ones that have gotten, because it's not being coordinated. So you can't have a way forward or a solution. It have not met the ends of giving out that food. So most of the people will still be suffering.
It's about 13 minutes to the end of the conversation. It's participatory. You can be part of the conversation this morning, proffering solutions to the food crisis in the country. What can be done? Proffering solutions to food crisis in the country. The number to call 0705 3538 929. 0705 3538 929. We still have Mr. Michael Ashimashiga with me in the studio. Your story sounds very interesting, and it would have been so nice for us to also look at what some analysts are saying, calling on President Bola Tinubu to review his economic policies to align with the needs and welfare of Nigerians than the foreign interests. Do you share the sentiment as well?
Yes, those are facts. Sometimes in life, as I always say, if all these analysts have stood on their ground to also make it work, wouldn't just be advising. When the president see 2 or 10 or 15 people working on the same thing, they are not just writing on papers, they are working on the same thing. You have to change.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us. My name is Buki Touru. Who is on the line? Cece, who? Kingsley, who? I said my name is Buki Touru. Your name is Kingsley, who? Hello. We lost the call. Please, when you call, let us have your full name so that we can know who is calling and probably your location as well. Don't forget the number 0705 929. I guess my caller is connected. If you can hear me, good morning. Thank you for finding time to be part of the conversation. Who do you have on the line? Mr. Christian Nweke, thank you. So where's Mr. Christian calling from? Thank you.
According to what my friend guy is saying, the government who said they will do something at the end of it, I don't permission. Because if there is permission on whatever they say they will do or they have done, it will reach to grassroots. But at the end of the day, they will say they have done, but nobody will survive or to lead or to speak if what they have done has been done. That is our problem.
Thank you for calling. Thank you for your contribution. Okay, the NLC says tomorrow there's going to be a protest, and we're looking for, government has said, let this be done. You're looking at implementation, you're supervising. Supposing NLC channels that energy into supervising that, will it be wrong? Or everybody involved, since all Nigerians seems to be making noise about food now, rather than channel that effort into protesting, will it be better to do that in supervising? Because desperate times desire desperate action.
Desperate action, yeah. You know, the fact of this NLC protest tomorrow, is, sometimes when we that we are with the common men in the village, or we the bushmen that we're out there, when we are feeling it, we feel sometimes that Nigerian solution, if you want to get the right answer to your question, you have to stand and protest on your own to get somebody attention that yes, you should look into this. These are some of the ways that works in Africa here. But generally, globally, this protest or the rest of it, you see them carrying on their own, gradually moving. But Nigerian factors, with the hunger and so many things, when you look at how much salary are they paying a civil servant, how much is it taking home? After 30,000 naira, that is the minimum wage. How many people can move from town, coming to, from Nyanya or Masaka or Lese Lube or Gwagwalada, coming to work in the city here? How much is their take back home? When you look at all those things, and then looking at the price of food, a bag of rice is 60,000 naira. A bag of corn is almost 60 to 70,000 naira.
Local rice.
Local rice. And then this maize, a bag is at that same price, 60 to 70,000 naira, 100 kg, almost 80,000 naira. Then you are collecting 30,000 naira, you have children at home. And the common, maybe the simple one, let's say maybe you have a plot of land that you can go and cultivate. You don't have access to the fertilizer to go and even, how much is a bag of fertilizer? My own locally, I sell it 27,000 naira. So somebody that is taking 30,000 naira,
it can be cheaper.
Yeah, it can be
cheaper.
So how do you expect him to move?
So let's look at the possible solutions now. What are the step by step to get a quick win in the short term before we look at on the long run what happens?
I wrote to the office of the state, office, the secretary to the federal government.
Current one?
Current one. I sent a proposal there. Within 6 months, Nigeria doesn't have any problem. They are ready to move forward. We'll just carry it and dust it and put it there. This morning, as I was moving out, one of the staff from the office, I saw him on the way. I didn't even know that he was working there. He asked me, say, Oga, please, let's resubmit that to your proposal. I said, Oga, I don't waste time because all the presidency, from Goodluck, from the Yaradua, Goodluck, Buhari to Tinubu, they are not ready to provide the rightful solution or to get the right people to solve Nigerian problem. When you say this is the way, somebody
in government is now saying, let's redo this. Is there not a change somewhere by somebody wanting to make a difference?
That is why we have to stand on our own and do the little that we can.
So can't you read something that and follow it up? This is radio.
Something happened.
Now.
Something happened to me last 2 or 3 years. They say they are looking for exporters to give them some export incentives. I submit my proposal. When they looked at it, they say, how can your company? So you have been exporting this, you have been doing? I say, yes. How much have you generated? I say, we generated few from it. But this is what we can do. They sent their officers, they came to the factory, they looked at the factory, they say people that we have given even 2 billion and don't have factory on ground. People that took 1 billion and don't have factory on ground. After all the analysis submitted, I went back at the end of the day. I don't know whether it's from there, something of 480 million naira. At the end of the day, I think they dropped 2 million naira to my. I don't know whether they are the one that dropped through Bank of Industry. And I know I didn't submit anything to Bank of Industry. The one I submitted to them, they are not ready to even give me equipment to do my work.
That's another thing that a lot of
Yes,
Nigerians
I
feel.
go to Bank of Industry.
I've heard people talk about Ministry of Agriculture having some equipment locked up somewhere. Is that also true?
Those are the facts. When people are saying this, these are all facts. Look at the right people that are dedicated to this particular work. Give them what they are looking for. They are not looking for much money. Give them the equipment, the raw material. They know how to source the raw material.
But is it also so difficult to produce these things?
These are things that are not difficult to produce.
But they already said they are in the coffers of some people, packed somewhere.
My dear, that is Nigeria. When you just to look at what is happening in the country, sometimes you just get mad and keep moving on the way. And then when you see somebody protesting for a particular thing, you will join him and then you say, okay, let's just die for it. So how can we change? These are common things that when you see this, look at industry, go to all around the country, all factories, almost 90% of Nigerian factories are closed down. They can't produce anything again. So where can you employ? Where are my dear?
The factories now you're talking about electricity sounds like another issue.
If I told them
don't Nigeria have the land to do agriculture? Don't they have the manpower?
Where is the fertilizer? That is what I'm asking.
Is it every land that requires fertilizer?
For now, as it is, every land requires fertilizer. Except you go to the interior forest and cut down and plant 1, 2, the third year, you still need fertilizer.
So that's a main thing in attending to food insecurity in Nigeria for you, apart from insecurity.
The insecurity is all from the food. So when you solve this problem first, we see somebody in kidnapping, it's hunger that push him to stealing. I was in Nyanya police station one day. I always bring this issue up. In Nyanya police station, they arrested somebody. When they brought him to the police station, I was just entering. I saw him eating rice. I didn't know, I'm not aware that they brought the rice for someone that is in the cell. When I saw this guy eating rice behind, so they brought the person that they brought the rice from the cell. This person came, the police officer that they gave the food because he kept it under his drawer. He put his hand to remove this food. You realize that there is no food. He kept putting his scattering, looking at places. When he turned back and looked at the back seat, the person that is at the counter behind him, he discovered this guy is eating rice. He said, "Come, who brought food for you?" He checked. He realized that the food that he kept, this guy that he stole phone, they brought him to police. And inside police station,
he stole a phone.
He stole a phone.
And that was why he was at the police station.
Yes. And right there behind the police, when the police kept the food, he put his hand and took that rice and started eating. When they started beating him up, he said, inside police station, still steal again. He said hunger. What hunger? So you see somebody stealing because of hunger. When you put the right policies and programs and incubation center and all these equipments on ground, let me tell you the truth. 95% of these crimes that we are talking today will be cut off totally without you following somebody with gun to shoot him. I always said it. I said there is no how. You can fight insecurity, all these banditry, criminals and the rest of them. You can keep fighting, keep shooting guns. Those money, you can cut some of them and bring the necessary materials and build incubation center, engage, call all the youth per each senatorial zone. You know, all this allocation for constituency allowance for projects, for this and that. I don't know sometimes
the
what
National
they are
Assembly
doing.
is already considering state police to attend to insecurity so that...
Let them provide the necessary thing, provide this fertilizer and some of these tractors and the rest of them to the farmers.
Not state police.
No state police. A tractor, what one tractor is doing will solve what 100 police will do. I'm not stopping them from creating state police. You can create state police, but add it with tractors, add it with fertilizer industries and the rest of them. Not even chemical, because the chemical fertilizer, sometimes they say they're using it for all this explosive and the rest of them. We have a lot of materials on ground that we can use.
Thank you, Mr. Ashimashiga, Michael, an agriculturist, for being part of the conversation this morning and giving us your thoughts on proffering solutions to food crisis in the country. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The producer has been Georgina Humphrey, assisted by Risikati Jemeni Jinugu, supervised by Sadiq Yaro. My name is Buki Tuuru. 11:15 next week, Monday, we'll be back for a fresh edition of the program. In the meantime, stay with us as at midday we have the network news.